This very short podcast looks at how to start preparing for the assessment due for BANS1 Fundamentals of Nursing Care.
Make sure you consult the assessment guidelines for all the information you need on the specifics of the assessment. It's a 1500-word essay due on the 15th of December, worth 50% of the overall marks. You need to make decisions very early on about what underpinning theory you're going to be using, and also which of the questions you're going to choose. You only need to answer one.
There's a number of top tips we would recommend that you bear in mind when planning for the assessment. Make sure you start as early as you can, thinking about the question, doing your research, and also starting to write. It's also really important that you answer the question set rather than the one you think's been set or you wished had been set. We would also recommend that you look through the guidelines that were written about your previous work, the formative work. It had clear details on what was expected of academic writing in first year, so it should prove useful.
It's useful to think of essay writing as a process. It makes it more manageable. The first part of this process is to analyse the question and think about what you've actually been asked to do. Analysing the questions requires you to ask yourself a lot of questions in terms of the format of the essay, the focus of the essay, and what content you need to build a convincing argument.
So before you do anything else, spend time analysing the question. Ask yourself, are there any concepts you need to define? Why are you being asked to study this? Is it a matter of contention? Have you covered it within lectures? Have you had any relevant placement experiences that you can relate to? At this point, it can also be a really good idea to write down your brainstorming of the question. A useful way to do this is by way of mind map, and we've done a really rather pathetic example here to do with communication skills. We obviously don't have the content knowledge, so yours would look very different, but it shows you an example of how you might start thinking around the question before you go away and do your research. And here's another on patient and client confidentiality.
Now that you know what kind of things you want to put in the essay, it's time to go and get your content. There's lots of different help available throughout the university, so get in touch if this is something you'd like extra support with.